Okay, so we're going to move on now and create a second pluck sound. This time a pad and a pluck together, which is quite interesting, but it's a very nice sound. So I'm just going to play this for you again so you can hear how it sounds. And I'm going to delete it. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to copy this MIDI over and then delete it. If you want to use this MIDI, then just pause the video here and copy it out. Otherwise, we get to it. So I'm going to insert an instance of Spy again and choose the Temple 1 Spy Essentials Volume 1 pack. Going on to Pluck Saw 8, which we were using before. And just bring the cutoff, the cutoff amount down a bit. Turn the delay off. We'll leave the reverb on for now. And just want to make some adjustments to the curve here. Sounds pretty good to me. So I'll leave that as it is. And I'm going to group that. Duplicate, because we're going to be using Spy again. In the same bank, in fact. And then I'm going to go in here and choose a pad that I like. And one that stands out to me is the Foreigner pad. There we go. I'm just going to play that. Now that's pretty nice as it is, but I prefer to have a little less high end. So I'm going to pull down the cutoff there. And I'm probably going to leave that as it is. I don't think there's much else I need to do because it's such a nice sound. It's very well designed. So I'm going to leave that as it is. I'm going to adjust the volume. Basically turn both of these down. Sounds good to me. Now, I'm just going to EQ these to make them fit. It can be quite hard EQing two sounds when they're so similar in terms of the frequency range. For example, this pluck here is very deep. It has a lot of low frequencies. And in a situation like this, where the pad has low frequencies as well, you simply need to make a compromise. So what I'm going to do is actually remove the low end, or some of the low end, from this pluck. And it's not a bad thing because the pluck contributes to the low end, so it still sounds like the pluck is deep, even though it's not. So if I remove this, you can hear that it sounds a lot different. But when I play it with the pluck underneath, the pad underneath, you've still got that warm, rich sound that comes from the sub frequencies, which is really nice. So I'm going to leave that EQ as is. I don't think there's much I need to do there, but we'll come back to it. And then on the pad, I basically want to remove, I want to keep the low end in there obviously, but I'll roll it off around 50 Hertz. And I want to remove some of the body in here, the 200, 300 Hertz area. And just shove off the high end there to make it sound a bit more like it's more in the low end of the spectrum. It's often when you're using EQ, you can create the illusion that something has less of something. For example, sometimes high passing can create the perception that a sound has more high end or high frequencies, and likewise reducing the high end can make a sound come across as more deep and then low. So that's important to remember. And again, what I'm going to do is add that macro in. that we looked at in the last video. So I'm just going to open up the configure section here, choose the cutoff, and you can macro more parameters than just the cutoff. I like using the cutoff because it's common, but you can do it with reverb, you can do it with all kinds of stuff. So we'll see how that sounds. It sounds alright to me, but I want a minimum on this pluck here, so. Also want a maximum on the pad. Sounds good to me. And that concludes our second pluck video. So I hope you learned something from that. Again, we made a similar sound, a sound with two similar sounds, two plucks. And in this one, we used two different sounds, a pad and a pluck, to create a new sound. So in the next video, we're going to be looking at making a lead. So I'll see you then.